What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Guitar Gear Trader. I am Steve, coming at you from Nashville, Tennessee. I am the Guitar Gear Trader, and today we're doing a gear review, a much-awaited gear review for you that honestly did not go the way that I was expecting it to, but that's okay. That's all right. I'm here to pass on the information to you in a nice, honest review, unlike a lot of other channels on YouTube telling you a lot of different things to make you buy stuff because they're getting paid to. I'm not getting paid to. No one pays me anything because my channel's a wee little bitty channel. I would like to change that. You know how you could change that and help me change that so that I can give you dishonest reviews because people are going to pay me to do stuff? You can hit subscribe. You can hit the like button. You can leave a comment. You can tell people to watch the channel. You can follow me on Instagram at Guitar Gear Trader. But even if I do get to be a bigger channel and people do pay me to review stuff, I'm going to be always honest and true to myself. This has been my chorus pedal for 15, almost 20 years. Okay, I started gigging out with people, with bands, probably when I was around 24, 25 years old. I'm coming up on 43 now, so coming up on like 18 years-ish. So this has been my go-to chorus pedal since I've been gigging. I'm not a very big pedal person. I love old school, kind of straight into an amp. Give me the distortion from the amp. I'm not going to use distortion pedals. I'm a two-channel amp kind of guy. I like I said, I use the clean channel very little. The music I play does not really require a clean channel that is really great with a lot of headroom. I don't need Fender amps. I need amps that have lots of gain to hide my mistakes, but also the style of music that I play is that style of music. It's high gain, crunchy distortion for the most part. And I had this just because it's simple. It has one knob. I like that because these things confuse the crap out of me. Like I said, and if you've seen the channel before, I'm very old school. I like things as simple as possible. I like old guitars. I like old trucks because they're a lot simpler than modern things. And this is a very good representation of the type of pedal that I like. As few knobs as possible, on-off switch. Sounds good, sounds great, very subtle. Okay, this MXR micro chorus is a very subtle pedal. It doesn't give you total, like really saturated chorus. It's there, it's there, but it's very subtle, and that's what I like about it. The only songs that I play that really require chorus are some like cult songs, like Firewoman has some chorus on the beginning of it. She Sells Sanctuary probably has some chorus on it. I don't turn this on very much. Then I heard about the Rockman 100 and all of the buzz and all of the hype that surrounded the Rockman 100. Now, what made me want to get the Rockman 100 was the fact that it had built-in distortion or gain within the pedal, but it also, from what I understood, didn't really have a chorus level. It was like a set chorus, which I kind of like. I like when the brands kind of choose the best frequencies and the best levels for their effects like that, so I don't have to think about it, right? There are some amps that I have that kind of do similar things for you, where I have some orange amps that don't have mids for the clean channel, right? There's a highs and a lows knob, but there's no mid knob. They have the mids set to where they think the mids should be, and you don't have to worry about it. There was one orange amp, I think it was a Rocker 15. All it had was a volume knob for the clean channel. It had a dirty channel that had a 3-band EQ, but for the clean channel, it just had a volume knob. Everything else was set within the amp, and that's cool because the amp company, the people who made the amp, the people who know the amp best, they decided what the sound was that they wanted to get out of it, and it was less work for me. So this Rockman 100 X100 got so much hype on YouTube when it came out, at NAMM when it was debuted, and it took me a long time to get it. I pre-ordered it on Sweetwater. This is not a paid or sponsored video at all. I'm not getting any money for this. I bought this and I'm actually returning it because you'll see why. But I pre-ordered this in, I think, April. I just got it now, and it's August 6th. 8th? August 8th. It's midnight. It's August 8th. I played it all day today, played around with it in different forms, and it just wasn't for me, and I'll show you why. So let's take a look at the pedal itself and the box that it comes in. So here is the pedal, the box that it comes in. You can see, nice little black cardboard box. Has the Rockman logo, MXR on the side. And like I said, I ordered this from Sweetwater months and months and months ago, and it finally came in today. When you open the box, this is what you get. This did have like a plastic bag surrounding it. I don't know where it is, but that's what you get. Okay, so here's the pedal. And you also get the power adapter. And oddly enough, my board is a Furman board, and my board has like built-in power strip on it, and it comes with like 7 or 8 different 9-volt plugs, and none of them worked except for the given one in the box. Like it would, the chorus wouldn't turn on the pedal. You can turn, like the pedal would light up, and I think this volume fader would work, but the chorus wouldn't turn on without the given Dunlop power adapter. So keep that in mind too, that you're gonna need to plug this in at some point on your board. My board has 4 different outlets, so I was able to plug that into it, so that wasn't too bad. But if you don't have that type of board with plugs, you're gonna have to run an extension cord or something like that. For whatever reason, this was the only thing that it worked with. Okay, what else do you get in the box? We'll bring that back later. You get the quick guide, which tells you basically nothing. Okay, it's a lot of pages, and basically all the pages are just the same thing in 40 different languages. And it doesn't even show you the actual pedal in here. It shows you other pedals that MXR makes. It shows you a wah-wah pedal and a way huge stomp box and another MXR pedal, but not the Rockman 100. You get your thank you for choosing Dunlop as part of your signal chain. Now, I like MXR pedals, obviously, right? Because I use this one. I like MXR a lot. So this has nothing to do with MXR. I also use the Phase 90, one of my favorite pedals. Okay, so nothing against the company. Company's good. And then you get little feet that you can stick onto the back of your pedal if you so choose to do that. All right, so there's the pedal itself. And I don't think this pedal is made for a gigging musician that's doing live music. And I'll tell you why. So I plug this into my pedal board. I'm going to plug it in for you now just so you can see the lights and to see how this thing kind of looks when it's operating. Okay. So when you boot it up there, you're going to see that you have 4 lights over here and 1 light over here, and you got 2 faders, and we'll go through those in a sec. So I configured this on my board and through my amp in a couple of different ways to see how it would react and work in different situations on the board. the first thing I did was I just took this off my board and replaced it with this. Okay, so now this was in my effects loop on my looper, on my Joyo looper on my board. Okay, so my looper has 4 spots where you can put pedals before the power amp, and then you have an area for an effects loop. You have 4 other pedal inputs where you can put your pedals into the effects loop. So my delay pedal, my reverb pedal, and my chorus were all in my effects loop. My phaser, my EQ, and I have a Scran overdrive pedal that are in before the amp. So I knew that this was not supposed to go before the amp, especially if you're using distortion. Okay, if you're using a clean amp with lots of headroom, you can plug this. You don't need to plug it into the effects loop. You can put it in front of the amp and it'll be fine. I play a lot of distortion. I knew that this probably wouldn't mix well before that, so I put it into the effects loop. I just took this out and plugged this directly in the spot that the micro chorus was in. And to be really honest, it didn't matter where I put it, because it sounded, later on, I tried it, I took this out, and I put it before the amp. I put it where my phaser was. It was basically the first pedal that got hit with the guitar signal after my wah. Right, so my guitar signal goes into a volume pedal, Ernie Ball volume pedal, then into a Morley wah-wah pedal, and then it went directly into this Rockman, essentially. And then after that, I had my overdrive and my EQ. It didn't sound much different, to be really honest with you, regardless of was it in the effects loop or was it in front of the amp. It did not make much of a difference. There was a slight difference, but it wasn't enough to say you shouldn't put it in one place or the other. It did, in my opinion, sound better in the effects loop than it did before the amp. The problem with this pedal is that it's very, very ice picky in all the settings. It doesn't matter where you put it. It doesn't matter what you punch in here. It doesn't matter how you fade it. It's piercingly trebly high-end frequencies going right through your ears, and there's really nothing you can do about it. So what did the buttons do? So over here you have your modes. The blue is your clean mode, which in my opinion, the blue mode is the only usable part of this pedal. The only option that I found that this pedal worked well in was on that blue clean mode. After that, it's basically unusable, in my opinion, and for what I'm using it for. Okay, when you click these, the light will go up to where it says clean 1, which this is basically just these next 3 lights, the yellow and the red, the green, yellow, and red, are essentially different amounts of gain. So the blue one is no gain. The green one is a little bit of gain at the edge of breakup. The yellow one is pretty much distortion, and then the red one is like, full-on distortion, solo type distortion. Okay. After clean 1, I messed around with it enough to get clean 1 to be okay. After that, it's basically unusable for what I was using it for. This fader here is the volume fader, and I was actually using this as a boost at one point instead of a chorus pedal. I was like, I just bought this pedal, it's $230. I don't want to just waste it. Maybe I can use it for a boost. Because my delay pedal, my DD3 Boss delay pedal, sucks a little volume. It's a great pedal. The delay on it is great. But whenever I engage it my volume drops probably about 10 to 20%. So I was like, maybe I can use this as a boost. So what I did was I disengaged the chorus and put this volume fader up and used it as a clean boost, essentially, for when I engaged my delay. So when my delay was on, this also came on in my looper and gave me a volume boost. It wasn't terrible, to be honest. It actually worked pretty good, but that's not what this pedal's for. This pedal isn't made to be a volume boost. It's made to be a chorus. And I don't want to be adjusting my pedals from one song to the next. I want to keep my pedals set up so that I can just stomp on them for whatever song I need. I don't want to, for Living After Midnight, when we play that, I do the solo. I don't want to set this for my volume boost for the solo, and then when we're doing Run to You by Bryan Adams, set this up differently, because I would set it up differently for that. I'm not going to remember it. I'm going to forget. I'm going to butcher one song or the other because I'm going to forget, and I rather just not do that. Okay, so that's what I was doing for that. So this volume is actually just what it says. It's just a volume boost. When you have it all the way down, you hear nothing. Your guitar signals, if this is engaged and this volume is all the way down, you don't have a signal. Your signal's gone. You have to engage this volume in order to hear your guitar signal. And it'll get pretty loud, but the louder you put it, the more high end you're going to put into. It's almost like a treble. It's almost like a presence knob, where you're adding so much treble to it and high end to it that it gets to be uncomfortably sounding, right? On the other side, you have a chorus switch that engages your chorus, and I have to admit the chorus is really nice. It's a very, very nice chorus. It's a nicer chorus than this. Okay, I will give it that. However, the frequencies of this pedal are so high, and there's nothing you can do to really calm it down. This input gain fader is essentially a compressor, from what I understand. And the more you engage this compressor, the more trebly it gets and the more unruly it gets. You almost have to keep it all the way off in order to make it bearable to your ears. And I was using this on a Les Paul. Les Pauls aren't known to be ice picky, and Les Pauls aren't known to be really high end. They're actually known to be more bass heavy than anything, right? It's not like I was using a Telly with this, or I was using a Firebird with mini humbuckers. I was using a humbucking pickup and had the bass all the way up, and I also engaged the neck pickup instead of the bridge, and it was still unruly. And it's really only unruly on the high E and the B string, and a little bit on the G. If you're just playing, the low strings, the low E, A, and D, if you're just doing kind of like power chords or something like that, it's not too bad. But when you're upstroking, if you're upstroking on the higher strings, the high E and B and G, it's just piercingly uncomfortable to listen to. Like I said, if you have it on the blue, if you have it on the clean, and you have the volume about a quarter of the way, maybe between a third and a half, and you have your input gain very slightly up, and you have this on your clean channel, then it sounds pretty nice. Okay? Again, you cannot use your amp's distortion for this. If you have your amp's distortion on, this isn't going to work very well. Okay? So your amp has to be clean. You have to be on your clean channel for this to sound good. And you can use this clean and clean one. That's what I found. That's what I found on during my use of it. We do Run to You by Bryan Adams, and there's a spot in the middle where there's like little, I guess it would be the lead break, that part, and then after that lead break comes out, it's like a lo-fi chorusy guitar that just does the riff, right? And that's my part in the band, and this would be a perfect setting for it, right? This clean one with the chorus engaged, very little compression. It squishes everything real tight. This compressor, that's what compressors do, compresses things, and it gives you like that really cool compressed sound. Like it's in the mix, but it's like, because in that song it's isolated. That guitar is by itself. There's no drums or bass or anything else. It's just that guitar by itself, just doing the little the riff for the song. And this setting right here is great. But I can't justify keeping a $225 pedal for one song that may or may not stay in the set list for a long time, right? We're just getting together, we're getting our first, set list together, and that was an easy one that we all kind of knew, and we were like, let's just put that one in there. Who knows if that song's even going to stay in the set list? So to keep a $225 pedal, I'm not playing Boston. Is that who's real famous for using this? Boston or Rush or something? Whatever the famous band is that used this machine or contraption back in the day, we don't play any of their songs. You probably could get really, from what I've seen on the internet, you can get really cool like Def Leppard tones out of this. I was unable to do that. I don't know a lot of Def Leppard tunes. The ones I know, I could get all those sounds better by using the stuff I already had. I didn't need this to do it. So then after I got very, upset about having this, I decided to go online and check it out, right? And all the videos you watch are just like, on their knees for this pedal. It's the best. They give you all these demos of it and stuff like that. And, everyone is creaming over it. And I'm like, well, all these guys are getting paid to kind of give this a good review. I'm going to give this an honest review. And then I was like, I'm going to go on Reddit. I'm going to deep dive it into the dark place of Reddit. And I did so. And what I found was a lot of the people that were on there that complained that the high end of this pedal was just too much for them, and that it just didn't sound good going into their amp. And the answer that everyone had was, it's not made for amps. That's not what they used it for in the past. They put it directly into their soundboards to give the chorusy effect of it back in the day, because it was like a preamp, and they would just plug it directly into the board. So I tried that. I tried plugging my guitar directly into it and then directly into my board. And I even tried going into my interface. That was more bearable, if I'm completely honest. It was a lot more bearable when this went into an interface and then into my computer, or if this went into my soundboard directly and into my computer. It took away a lot of the harshness of the upper range or the higher frequencies, but you could still hear it. Right now, why is that? Probably, I'm just taking a guess, I'm just assuming it's because of the volume level. When you're playing live and you're going through a 2x12 cabinet in a room, and you have to project that sound out into a venue or a bar or a church or whatever, the volume on the amp has to be pretty high compared to your headphone volume on your interface or your headphone volume on your soundboard. And your soundboard has an EQ on it, so you can EQ your tones. I don't have that ability to sit there and change the EQs of my amp in a room that I've probably maybe never played before for one or two songs. I'm not going to sit there and try to, figure out the sound on the front of the amp while I'm playing a gig at a show. I can sit there and do that on a soundboard if I'm recording something. I can sit there and do that on a soundboard or an interface if I'm doing a video like this and edit stuff, but I don't have that luxury to do all that when I'm live. So this could have potential. Okay, maybe it has potential as a recording tool, as a, doing demos of things on YouTube. I don't personally think this has a lot of use in the live setting. And that's just for me. For my music, for my band, for what I do on my parts on my, my guitar, this is not going to work for me as well as this is going to work for me. Okay? I'm still gonna look for stuff because, I've had this for a long time, and it's very subtle. I would like something that has a little bit more saturation than this. But and I gotta say, like I said, the chorus on this is really nice. This is good chorus. It's just you put these little faders up anywhere from 0, and it's just unbearable on your ears. And like I would, playing it in my studio here, I only have the amp on like 2 or 3. And I can't imagine having it on 4 or 5 or 6 in a venue and having that go out like that. And on the neck pickup, and I tried it all. I placed it in different areas and before the amp, in the effects loop, into the board, into the interface. It was just too much. But like I said, maybe it has potential for other uses. But for the live gigging musician, I'm not going to recommend this pedal. I'd recommend going with something a little bit different. What could make this better? Give this thing a 3-band EQ. Give me the ability to change the frequency levels. Just give me a small EQ somewhere on here. And I think that would make this, or even just knobs. Give it a treble cut knob or something, because it's like, imagine the most ice pickiest Firebird Telly combination you can think of. And that's what this is. I was very upset because I was looking really forward to this. But you know what I got coming? I got the Behringer. I got the clone from Behringer. That's like $80, and it looks identical to a clone. I think they got sued for it, so I'm wondering what it looks like. I wonder if it actually looks the same way, because I know they got sued for the initial design of it because it was the exact same thing. So I'm wondering if they changed the color of the housing, or if they changed the Centaur guy on it, or the knob color or something like that. But that's coming tomorrow, so maybe I'll do a review on that pedal. All right, so thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have one of these and I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. If you use it live and it works out for you, tell me how you're using it. Maybe I can change my settings here and learn from you guys on how to use it better. And I would hope so. If you can teach me how to use it better and make it sound good, by all means, I'll keep it. But I already asked my Sweetwater guy for a return label. But I don't have to return it if I don't want to. So thanks, everybody. Do me a favor. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Tell your dad. Tell your brothers and sisters to watch the show. Follow me on Instagram at Guitar Gear Trader. And until next time, I'll see you later, everybody. Peace out.